Happy Wednesday, everybody. The Major League Baseball season is officially in full swing, and the boys of Hitting Home have returned to talk about it. So kick back, relax, because a new edition of Hitting Home begins right freaking now. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back into another edition of Hitting Home, only here on 609 Sports Talk Radio, coming to you guys live today, bringing you all the latest from around Major League Baseball. And of course, host always, Sam Nelson, Dustin Reese. Dustin, brother, how we doing today?
Wish I was still in Florida, but outside of that, doing fine.
Guys, Dustin is mourning right now. His Cubs are going through some things right now.
Going through some things?
Just some things, not a lot of things.
Okay.
Listen, I got shut out by Robbie Ray last night, okay? I'm not happy either.
Robbie Ray at least was a Cy Young finalist at one point.
Okay, yes, fair enough. And San Francisco to the Phillies is the house of horrors. We haven't won a series there. The last time the Phillies won a series in San Francisco, Michael Young was our third baseman.
Yeah, see? So you shouldn't be surprised.
It's house of horrors out there. And also, I hate West Coast road trips because I can't stay up and watch the damn things. Freaking third inning, I'm passed out. But yeah, so look, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We'll give some thoughts on the ABS strike system so far. I think there's some umpires that like it. I think there's some umpires that really don't like it. And apparently there's a manager who doesn't know how it works. So we're going to be going in. We talked about that off camera. We're going to talk about that as well. Rookies being a big topic of Major League Baseball so far. We have a big contract given out to one this morning. We have some that are performing very well to start the year. We have some that have shown some signs. But there are kind of some concerns that we kind of harped on the last time we were on. Now, as we know, we weren't on last week because Dustin was on vacation. So we decided to take the week, give baseball some time. But the first topic I want to go over today, Dustin, starting pitching. It is right now the focal point of Major League Baseball. It's the hottest thing going. I mean, there are so many starting pitchers that are off to just hot starts. And this is coming off of the fact that, Paul Skeens didn't make it out of the first inning on opening day. And apparently Target Field to Tarik Skubal is like Middle Earth to Gondor. You walk in there, you're scared.
I mean, you see Tarik Skubal anywhere you should be scared.
Yeah, but when he goes to Target Field, he's got an ERA over 4 in that ballpark.
Yeah, it's just how baseball is. Like, we see that all the time. Though. Like, some hitters, like, they get to a ballpark. I think is it Paul Gold? Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt. When he goes to Wrigley Field, he's got a 571 batting average at Wrigley Field. Like, the guy walks through the doors at Wrigley Field. It's like, all right, batting practice time for the next weekend. But then he goes to other ballparks, and the guy can't buy a hit to save his life. You see that same thing with pitchers, too, where for whatever reason, some pitchers get to a stadium, whether it's the mound, whether it's the backdrop, whether it's just the way things are set up, they just get to a specific place and they feel like they're in a zone, and then they go to some other stadiums. It's like, I really don't want to be here.
Well, yeah, that was like Chase Utley when Citi Field got open. I mean, they literally named the right field corner Utley's corner because he would hit 2 home runs every time he was out there. Another one was like Ryan Howard. He in St. Louis, which was his hometown. He killed Busch Stadium. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Tarik Skubal did not have a great night last night. I'll tell you who did have a great night last night. Since we're going to be talking about starting pitchers right now, what about Taj Bradley?
I mean, Taj Bradley, for those who don't remember Taj Bradley, he was not only a top 100 prospect at one point, but he was a top 15 prospect in all of baseball a few years back. He's always had the stuff, and he's always had the ability to be a frontline starter. But whether it be injuries, whether it be command inconsistencies, a lot of that type of stuff, he's never kind of turned into the pitcher that anyone thought he would be. But he started to show signs of that last year, that he may have started to figure things out. And now, if he has turned the corner as a starting pitcher, he's a legitimate frontline starter that's going to show why he was such a highly regarded prospect.
But I mean, of all places not to have that happen was his start in his career in Tampa, which usually when it comes to pitching, they're usually pretty upfront with it. But now this is just something. Was he involved? Was he involved in the trade that brought Griffin Jacks over there?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if that was the trade or if it was a
That
separate
was
trade. But
that was the key piece to get Griffin Jacks over there. Was you want basically our second best reliever outside of Duran? It's like you're going to give us something worthwhile, and Taj Bradley is obviously worthwhile because people know how good he was. People know how good his potential is. It's just a matter of, can he reach that potential and stay consistent with it?
yeah, and I mean, Minnesota's in need of some type of frontline starter. Hell, Pablo Lopez, we probably isn't going to pitch this year.
Nope.
And Joe Ryan, we don't know. I mean, what's his career look like in Minnesota? He's probably going to be, if Minnesota continues the downward rebuild trajectory that they're on, he's probably going to be one of the hot names at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was almost dealt last year to Boston.
Yep.
So, I mean, to get a guy like Taj Bradley, who is still under team control, and like I said, he's got the arm, he's got the stuff, just hasn't put it all together. Now, last year in Tampa, once again, I can't put too much of that on him when you're pitching in a minor league ballpark because, of course, routine fly balls are going to leave that ballpark some nights, and you're going to run the damn
look at Luis Severino last year with the Athletics. Everyone wants to rip on Luis Severino because the guy had like a 4.94 ERA last year. But what
go look at his road ERA.
What people don't take into account is his ERA away from Sacramento was like a 2.51. So obviously, you know, when he got out of that minor league ballpark, he was pitching like the ace that he's supposed to be with the Athletics. But when he was in Sacramento, a routine pop fly is going 340 feet. Like, there's not much you can do as a pitcher if you're limiting the hard contact, but the ball is still leaving the yard.
Yeah, like there's nothing that you can do with that.
I think the big thing that helps there's a couple things that I think helps Taj Bradley this year, which I think could actually help him turn the corner as a pitcher. And the main thing is the division he's in now. You're not in the American League East anymore. You're not pitching in Baltimore, a home run park. You're not pitching in Fenway, a home run park. You're not facing the Yankees or the Blue Jays lineups 14 times a year, two lineups where you make a mistake to any one of those hitters, they have the potential to take you deep. And then you're not pitching in a minor league ballpark anymore. So not only are you out of that division, but you're going to the American League Central, where the Tigers probably have the best lineup in that division, but that lineup doesn't strike a ton of fear in you. They got a couple bats that do, but not like top down. It doesn't strike a ton of fear in you. Same with the Royals. They got Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and Salvador Perez, but nobody really else in the Royals lineup strikes fear. Guardians have Jose Ramirez and the one rookie who's crushing it. Nobody really else than the White Sox or the White Sox. Then you also have Comerica Park, a pitcher's park. You have all the cold weather games you're going to have right now in Chicago, Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City. He's going to have an opportunity right now to be one of the, I'm going to say early season Cy Young favorites, because obviously things change. But like through 2 months of the year, he has a chance to kind of put himself in the Cy Young conversation, just because a lot of the things that did not go his way last year are going to go his way this year, whether it's weather conditions, the division you're in, and just a lot of other things.
Yeah, and I mean, so far through 3 starts, we're looking at 2-0, 1.08 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 22 strikeouts, and 16 2/3 innings. And another important one, 4 walks.
Yep.
Only 4 walks in 16 innings, something that he desperately had to take away from his time in Tampa Bay. And in his 3 starts, you bring out the ballpark. So the first one, he pitched in Baltimore. That was his worst start of the year, and he only went 4 1/3, but he only allowed 1 run. Yeah. The only issue in that game was he threw a lot of pitches.
Yep.
But then if you go over he's pitched against two AL Central teams in two AL Central parks. He pitched at Kauffman Stadium, 6 shutout innings against the Royals. And then last night, of course, was the 6 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run, 10 punch outs, no walks. Oh, by the way, you outpitched Tarek Skubal. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why he got 609 Sports Talk's MLB stat line of the day yesterday. Sandy Alcantara was the favorite till the Marlins bullpen ruined it.
Right. Can we say, you want
to talk?
We're only 3 starts in. Can we say that Sandy Alcantara looks back?
Oh my God. That's why I'm so mad about last night with that Marlins bullpen, because he was, and I mean, he allowed the base runners on in the 9th inning, but he was like 2 outs away from a second consecutive complete game shutout.
He looks back. And the start that the Marlins have got off to right now, I mean, obviously you made the trade because I don't think that the Marlins kind of expected themselves to maybe get off to the start they've gotten. But how upset do you think the Marlins are right now getting rid of Edward Cabrera? They've gotten off to a good start right now without Edward Cabrera. And look at how Edward Cabrera has looked in his 2 starts with the Cubs. He's yet to give up a run.
And not to mention the Marlins are playing without Kyle Stowers, who's still on the IL, their best player.
You have Alcantara, who looks to be back, and then you have Cabrera, who has yet to give up a run in his 2 starts. You put Cabrera back on that Marlins team, they could be an 8-1, 9-1 team right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I never understood. This is why I've never understood with teams like the Marlins. It's like the 2023 team. You got to the playoffs with Jorge Soler and all these guys, and you had all that pitching, and you got rid of Jesus Luzardo, which Philly fans, I'm not upset about that. Luzardo looked great in Colorado the other day.
That's another one. Can you imagine if you still had Luzardo, Cabrera, and the old Alcantara this year on the Marlins staff, plus Ryan Weathers, who they traded away to the Yankees, plus the Rogers they gave away to the Orioles last year.
Oh my God! Yeah, Rogers has pitched so well.
Can you imagine if that was the Marlins starting 5 this year? If they would even get some form of consistent offensive numbers, I'm not talking scoring like 5.5 runs a game, but if they could consistently put 4 to 4.4 runs per game together with that starting staff that they could have potentially had, this would be a 90-win baseball team. Because the only thing they would have to do is just make sure they have the lead getting into the 9th inning, because I trust Pete Fairbanks to close the game out.
Yeah, because their bullpen is solid too. It's not like it's bad; it's solid.
Like this is one of those situations where it just makes you wonder what the Marlins think half the time, because it's just like you have Alcantara, who's won a Cy Young. Cabrera has Cy Young potential, and you've seen how good he's looked already this year. Yes, Luzardo has the injury history, but when he's healthy, you've seen what Luzardo can do. And then you had 2 lefties in Weathers and Rogers, who are 25 and 26 years old, where Rogers had the lowest ERA in the American League through July last year, like 1.82. And I think Weathers at one point last year before he got hurt led all Major League Baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings. Like, you could have had a staff where everybody was 29 years old or younger. Everyone minus Alcantara would have been locked up for the next 3 or 4 years. You wouldn't have had to do anything to your starting rotation for 4 years. The only thing you would have had to do is basically spend money on the offense.
Yeah, and now Alcantara, another one, like I brought up with Joe Ryan, another arm that you're going to have to keep a lookout for at the trade deadline, because teams are going to be, if this is the Sandy you're getting every 5th day, then teams are going to come banging down the freaking door for that.
The question is, though, do the Marlins become buyers this year? If they stay, I'm not saying stay a first-place team, because the Phillies and Mets are a better team. But like, if they stay competitive enough where they are in the wild card race yet, come the All-Star break, do the Marlins now become buyers and are like, let's try to get Sandy Alcantara extended after the season is over, and let's just try to maximize what we have now?
They could. I mean, like I said, when you have the 3 wild cards now, it just makes this is their way of trying to get teams to start becoming buyers and stop the quote unquote tanking and non-competitive teams to actually start putting some money up front into trying to win by giving them more postseason opportunities to teams.
And the Marlins have the prospects to go and make moves.
Yeah.
And the one pitcher that you just mentioned, Joe Ryan.
Oh man, you put Joe Ryan and Sandy in the same rotation. That's pretty filthy.
Joe Ryan is one guy that you can throw in that rotation, and then a couple other names to keep an eye on. And I know a lot of times you don't see trades within the same division, but you got to look at the Nationals. Cade Cavalli. Cade Cavalli was
Yeah.
an opening day starter, but he's looked really good so far in his 3 starts. He's a guy that I think is on a 1-year deal this year with the Nationals where you can make that trade and get him there. You have other options in the NL Central you could kind of look at. You have options in the NL West, give or take, and then obviously the AL Central. Like there are going to be options for the Marlins to address their staff, and they have the assets where they can give up prospects to do it.
Yeah. I mean, right now they have Xavier Edwards is top 3 in the league in batting average at 390. Like, are they going to start trying to like take advantage of some of the young talent they have, or are they just going to keep selling it off like all these other teams do? Like, that's the part where people are getting sick and tired of it, is because teams get young talent and they just deal it away. And it's kind of annoying because you have all these all this talent. Like, I mean, Sandy Alcantara right now is 7th in Major League Baseball with a 0.74 ERA. He was on pace last night for his 2nd consecutive complete game shutout until the 9th inning. And it hurts that he didn't get the win. And it actually hurts you more if they lost the game. But yeah, like if I'm the Marlins, if I am sitting there end of July going into the deadline and I am hovering at 500 and I am like within 3 to 5 games of a wild card spot, go find a team that's got some bats that they're willing to sell, and let's see if we can dance here.
Because I'm going back to this whole like if their rotation was the way it should be as opposed to what it looks like now. In a best of 3 or a best of 5 playoff series, you would have Alcantara, Luzardo, Cabrera, Rogers, and Weathers. That starting 5 can compete with any team in a best of 5 series.
Absolutely.
And most teams only use 4 starters kind of for that because you have like the off days kind of built in between for travel days. Yeah. Marlins probably would just use all 5 and be like, we'll just use all 5, put all of our chips in the middle right now, and if we win, then we just reset everything in the divisional round. Like they wouldn't play the whole I got to figure out which guy I'm going to sit for this series or whatnot. They'd be like, well, if we get 1 starter per game, let's just go. And if we have a lead, if we're up 2-1 and we have the lead, we're going to go Weathers and Rogers in the game 4 to get to the next round.
Yeah, I know. And just real quickly, I know we're a baseball show, and I want to always that we baseball 100%. But I'm allowing this comment because of last night. Let's go Flyers. I'm letting that comment go through. 5-1 over the Devils.
Good for you.
Hey. I haven't seen playoff hockey in damn near a decade, okay?
Really? We have the longest streak right now in the NHL without making the playoffs, after having the longest consecutive streak of making the playoffs.
Whose fault is that?
the third straight year that the team can't play hockey in March?
Fair enough, but
do you know what their record is the last 3 Marches?
Who are we talking about?
The Red Wings.
No.
8, 26, and 4. The last 3 Marches combined.
Yeah, well, thanks for last night, by the way. You could have gave me some cushion between Columbus and me. Of course, you had to blow that game in the final seconds.
That's par for the course. We've been blowing games since the freaking Olympic break. We entered the Olympic break number 1 in the Eastern Conference. And now we are the 11th seed.
Don't you love it?
No. Because our GM, was part of that team that made the playoffs 25 straight years. But yet now he's been here for 6 years and he hasn't been able to get into playoffs at all. So something's not clicking there.
That's a fireable offense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, see, the difference, though, is and the last thing I'll keep on with the Flyers here, the biggest difference this year is we've had veteran teams that we've snuck into the playoffs with, but we knew they weren't going far. This team is at least young and exciting because my biggest gripe with them has always been, it's when are the kids coming up? Well, Porter Martone's here. Alex Bump is here. Devin Barkey's up here. They're playing well. They have younger ascending players like Matvey Mishkov. They have young players who've been in the league like Trevor Zegras. They got veterans that are playing well like Christian Dvorak, Dan Vladar. It's a young team that's exciting to watch. And now if they get to the playoffs, you're playing with house money. And I'm just hoping that this will be the team that finally they try to build off of this with instead of, oh, hey, let's see who we can get rid of this time.
I mean, get used to this year, though, because next year the point system changes.
I don't care. I think my team's going in a good direction.
No, but the point system would benefit your Flyers.
Good.
Because they're going to go with 3 points now instead of 2 points for a straight win. 2 points for an overtime win, 1 point for an overtime loss, and then 0 points for a loss. So you're going to get 3 points now for winning in regulation as opposed to 2. Because you're actually punishing teams that win in regulation because you're giving them the same amount of points as if you win in overtime. Overtime is technically a tie. You shouldn't have the same amount of points for winning in regulation as opposed to winning in overtime. Because you have teams right now, I think it's the Western Conference. There's teams right now that have 40, 41, and 42 wins, but they're on the outside looking in because a team with 37 wins has more overtime wins than this team, so they have more points. So you're actually punishing teams that might have a better overall record because they're not getting the overtime wins, and the overtime wins carry the same amount of points as a regular win.
Yeah, that is true. That is actually, I kind of like that better. But all right, so I want to jump it back into the starting pitching of this year. If you would have told me that, I mean, yes, we are only a couple weeks into the season, but if you would have told me that the top 3 ERA leaders in Major League Baseball would be Edward Cabrera, okay, I could believe that. But the top 2 outside of him were Bryce Elder and Eduardo Rodriguez. I would have told you to go check what you are smoking.
Well, Eduardo Rodriguez, after watching what he did against Team USA in the WBC final, doesn't necessarily surprise me.
No, you did say that. You did say that you thought he could carry this over into the regular season.
He pitched the best game of his life not his life, but probably the best game he's pitched in like 5 years in that WBC final against Team USA. And as soon as that game was over, I'm like, did he just realize how good of a pitcher he still was?
It looks like he has. I mean, he's pitched well, and they're getting pretty solid starting pitching too. Mike Soroka's pitched well,
and he pitched well in the WBC also for Canada.
Yeah, Mike Soroka's pitched really well, and I mean we're not even talking about Zach Gallen, and Miro Kelly's still hurt. So if Gallen can get back on track,
Corbin Burns is still hurt too.
Yeah, well, and if they get him and Kelly back, and Zach Gallen stops allowing every other ball to leave the ballpark all of a sudden, that Diamondbacks rotation is probably better than the one that got them to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have guys like, I'm just looking at Chase Burns, who I brought up when we heard the Reds were going to be without Hunter Green, they needed somebody to step up in that rotation. Oh, just 1-0 with a 0.82 ERA, 16 punch outs. I mean, most previous start against Texas, 6 innings, 1 run ball, 9 Ks. Start before that against Pittsburgh, where he literally, that was actually his only win. I think Texas was a no decision.
Yeah.
But that one, he went 5 innings of 1 hit ball with 7 strikeouts, just threw a lot of pitches, had 3 walks, but still, starting to show the flashes that we saw last year. And again, now the Reds, same thing. You get Lodolo back, get Hunter Green back later in the season. If Burns pitches like this, they're deeper. Because I'll tell you right now, that NL Central is looking pretty competitive. I mean, I know you're not having a very fun start to the year, but if the Cubs can get the pitching injuries under control and field a healthy starting 5, I'm sure the offense will come around eventually. I mean, guys, almost every team right now is playing baseball in 40-degree weather. That's why starting pitching is dominating so far, because guys are playing in 40-degree weather. It is hard to hit in 40 degrees. And no, for the people going out there and saying that, oh, well, what about October? You get a lot more 70-degree days in October than you do at the end of March, beginning of April.
It's kind of what you said about the Cubs, though. But my big issue right now with the Cubs is, yes, Justin Steele's going to be coming back about 4 weeks.
Soonish.
4 weeks, 5 weeks. They're saying Matthew Boyd's stint on the IL is a minimum 15 days, but the guy has an injury history, so I'm not banking on it being 15 days. So you have
Any arm injury with a guy with an injury history, you're already concerned.
like Javier Assad pitched a great game last night against the Rays, gave up 1 hit in 5 2/3. That's not something you can expect from Javier Assad every time out. And as good as Colin Ray was for the team last year, can you honestly expect him to do that again? I don't know. My biggest concern right now is when you look at the Cubs schedule after this week. Because they have one more game with the Rays tonight. They have off tomorrow. And then they get Pittsburgh at Wrigley this weekend. Then they follow that up with 7 games against the Phillies in 10 days. They get the 4-game set with the Mets. Then they go out west for 7 against the Padres and the Dodgers.
Oh, that's going to be joyous.
That stretch right there without Horton, without Steele, and without Boyd. In my opinion, I know it's early, but that, what is that, 17-game stretch? That 17-game stretch without your 3 best pitchers, I think is going to determine how the Cubs season goes. Because if they just get mashed and go like 5-12, which it's possible that they finish that stretch 5-12 because you don't have your 3 best pitchers, it's going to be a long year. Like they are going to be, because right now they're already facing adversity. Right now they're already facing a lot of adversity because of the pressure and the expectations of that team this year. But if you go 5-12 through that 17-game stretch, and now all of a sudden you're 8 games under 500 heading into May, and possibly 7 games behind the Brewers, it's going to be a very interesting second half of the year.
Which, by the way, I mean, I saw your the pieces you put about Cade Horton on Chicago Sports HQ, and I saw you bring up something that you think that starting pitching wise for him, that this could be the career ender for that. But you also brought up a very interesting point of, because of the stuff he does possess, you turn him into a reliever. That could be Palencia's setup man right there.
I mean, do you realize that he was the closer when the Cubs drafted him?
Yes.
He was coming off a Tommy John surgery that his junior year in college, and I think they got him back for the Big 12 tournament. They got him back earlier than expected. And all he did from the Big 12 tournament through the NCAA tournament was throw 13 innings, gave up 1 run and like 4 hits, and like struck out 28. Like he was the most dominant closer in college baseball for a 2-month stretch when they put him there. He was throwing 98, 99 as opposed to the 95, 96 he does as a starter. Had probably the most lethal slider anybody's ever seen, and his changeup was great. But everyone said, well, he still has starter ability. You're 24 years old. You're about to have your 3rd Tommy John surgery. Like your days as a starter are over. Like we've seen what you can do as a closer / late inning arm. Go to the 7th and 8th inning, be the 7th and 8th inning guy for Daniel Palencia, and just make a good living off of that, because there's been plenty of pitchers. Andrew Miller, who went from a starter to being one of the best setup men in baseball, that made a great living.
He just became one of the best relievers. Set up, closed, multiple innings. That guy was everything for a while.
I mean,
there.
Granted, he didn't have the same issues Horton had. Like, yes, Andrew Miller had the shoulder injuries and whatnot, but his big thing was command. Andrew Miller could never command his pitches as a starter, and then he ended up having the shoulder injuries, and then they're like, well, we're going to put you in the bullpen right now to see what we can do, and then all of a sudden he unlocked something. Like, Horton's already proved he can be a closer. He's already proved he can be a back of the inning guy. So, like, if you're not going to get him, and the reports that I heard last night before bed make it even sound worse, like they don't expect him to pitch until 2028. It's worse than a Tommy John. It's Tommy John plus the elbow reconstruction. So it's like 18 plus months that he's going to be gone. You can't become a starting pitcher after not throwing for almost 2 years. There's just no way. Like, just
go back to his career ender.
Just go back to being a setup man, go back to being the closer, and then go Daniel Palencia, Cade Horton in the back of the bullpen, because that's a scary 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Andrew, I'm just well, I knew I was gonna have to answer this eventually. I don't know what the Phillies think Otto Kemp's gonna do, playing once to twice a week and playing in the outfield when he's not an outfielder. He's already not a good he's already an infielder. He's not even good at that. And I was really hoping, with the way that the clubhouse really gathered to Kirkring last year after what happened against the Dodgers, and the way he handled it in the post-game interviews, I was hoping this would not be an issue. Did anyone see the play last night?
Mm-hmm.
Same play. Ball's hit right to him. He backed up. He made Marchand come out and freaking throw and get the ball and throw it to first base. Orion Kerkering is now Rube Baker from Major League Two,
Oh
who's
my
scared to throw the
god.
ball to second base.
What
Orion Kerkering now will not throw a ball to first base. Rube Baker couldn't throw the ball to second base. Someone is going to
are you
need to
talking
get
about? All you have to do is buy him a Playboy. Maybe this guy needs a Playboy.
just read the articles. But oh my god, he actually he starts to charge the ball, but then he gives way to Marchand, who's easily still 2 feet away from the baseball. Oh my god, I've never seen a major league movie scene come to life until that.
That's so. It's funny that you bring that up because I was listening to the new podcast with Anthony Rizzo and David Ross called the Lovable Reunion, which you need to subscribe to and listen to it because it is freaking amazing and hilarious. It is literally everything about like the 2016 Chicago Cubs World Series run, and you actually find out like how relaxed that team was and how laid back Joe Madden was as a manager. It's freaking awesome. But John Lester, Anthony Rizzo was ripping on John Lester because he couldn't throw a pickoff move. Like he couldn't pick guys off at first. And all of a sudden Anthony Rizzo's like, we played together for 7 years, and now it's been 4 years you played. I've never asked you this question. When did you learn that you couldn't throw a pickoff move? And John Lester's like, I don't really know. I tried it one day, and I just overthrew the first baseman by like 20 feet. And then after that, I just never did it because I knew I sucked at it. And Rizzo's like, well, we got pretty good at it. We learned how to do a bounce pass. We did a hidden ball trick. We got pretty good at it. And like eventually you learn how to pick guys off. And then they were like just talking. I guess there was one time where it was against the Atlanta Braves. And David Ross obviously was his personal catcher. And they come in with a game plan. And John Lester's like, if I get this guy in 2 strikes, I'm going to throw him a breaking ball. Like, I'm going to throw him a breaking ball. And David Ross is like, no, you can't throw him a 2-strike breaking ball because he'll crush it. And Anthony Rizzo's like, I struck him out on a 2-strike breaking ball. And Lester's like, your curveball's like 47 miles an hour. But anyway, so all of a sudden he gets Freddie Freeman to 0-2. And David Ross is like throwing fastball, cutter, fastball, slider. And Lester keeps shaking. So Ross calls time, goes out to the mound. He's like, you're going to throw a breaking ball, aren't you? He's like, yeah, I told you I'm going to throw a 2-strike breaking ball. Next pitch in, Freeman hits it 440 feet into the seats. And then Lester comes back to the dugout, sits down. David Ross is just chucking his catcher gear everywhere in the dugout, just slamming it, cussing. He goes up to John Lester. He's like, F it. I'm not throwing signs anymore. You throw whatever the heck you want. You do what you want. And Lester's like, I'm sorry. I was supposed to bounce the breaking ball. It didn't work. And it's such an awesome podcast. It's hilarious.
You ever see the other one with Rizzo and Freeman when he gets him into a rundown and he screams his actual name?
Freddie!
No, I know he called him Frederick. And then he calls him Freddie. And Fred looks back. He's like, no one's called me that since my mom.
Rizzo was hilarious as a baseball player. He was funny as hell.
He was. We gotta get him on. We gotta see if we can get him on. Give me an hour to talk to Anthony Rizzo. That would be the greatest day of my life.
Give me an hour to talk to Ross.
Oh God.
For all the managers he's played for, all like the Hall of Famers he's caught and played with from being his time with the Red Sox, the Cubs, all the teams he's played for.
And they're turning into a manager.
Which that actually is funny because Joe Madden has 51 years of Major League Baseball experience. Whether it's being a player, a bench coach, a manager, like he's got 51 years of baseball experience. And Joe Madden was like, I'm so grateful for the 24 years of experience I had before I became a manager because I learned so many different things from so many different managers that I was able to take a lot of all the stuff they taught me, kind of put it into my own craft. And David Ross is like, yeah, I'm happy that I took over for you, but I regret not getting the experience as a bench coach before I took the job.
Yeah, and that's the thing about having an experienced bench coach. I mean, look at the Phillies with Joe Girardi. Rob Thompson was a bench coach for how many years with Joe, learning it. And now, honestly, like, we don't know what Rob's future is after this year. Not because, I mean, the Phillies, I think we should still agree, they look the same. They look exactly the same. They still can't hit with men in scoring position. Here's how I look at this. Asking the Phillies to hit with runners in scoring position is like asking a doctor to cure every terminal disease in the world. That's what you're asking them to do.
I wouldn't go that far. I was going to say asking the Phillies to hit with runners in scoring position is like asking a fat kid to stare at a piece of cake and not eat it.
Okay. Okay, now. But that's where we're at here. Look, I'm a big guy. I take offense to that.
Hey, I eat cake for a living, so.
But no, they look the same. But even if the Phillies have a successful year, they still win 90-plus games, they win the NL East, or even if they're just a wild card team. The question with Topper's come up for the past couple years, like, is he going to want to just continue to manage? Because there were the reports he was going to retire after 2022. But then, I mean, heck, if I got my first managing gig and got to the World Series, I'd stick around for a while. But look who they brought in as their bench coach this year. Don Mattingly.
Yep.
So, like, is there... Because I honestly think if Topper were to call it a career after this year, there's two guys on that staff that I think would be their top two candidates. Possibly Don Mattingly, if he wants to manage again.
I don't think he does.
But now here's my theory to this. If he says no, I could see them promote pitching coach Caleb Cotham to manager. And he will have at least a very well-experienced bench coach with Don there. That was my other theory.
The other thing is I don't know how much you hear from like the Phillies front office and whatnot, but there is some front office chatter about the Phillies already have Rob Thompson's replacement picked. And it's nobody that's on the staff right now.
Of course it's not.
Somebody that's had a very good career with the Phillies and is a Philly hero.
Oh God, are we going with another ex-player manager? Come on.
Yep. Chase Utley.
I may pass out if that happens. As long as he retains Caleb Cotham as pitching coach, I don't care. As long as here's the first two things. If that were to happen, I need to hear. The Phillies are agreeing to a new contract extension with Caleb Cotham because when he is done with that starting rotation, and that, by the way, the one highlight of the Phillies, do you see their bullpen? Mm-hmm. The only runs they've allowed in the past week were the two unearned runs that happened last night. Thanks, Orion. And I mean. Everybody is shifted into a role. Tanner Banks looks good. Mm-hmm. Tim Meza, who was he was supposed to just be the guy that filled in till Kerkering got back. Then, of course, Kyle Backus forgot how to pitch, and he ended up losing his spot. But Jonathan Bolin, who they got in the trade from Matt Strahm, he's looked good over the past couple of games, and you're starting to see what I said all offseason. The bridge to Duran, Alvarado, Keller, Duran. I mean, Keller allowed the 3-run shot to Abrams the other day. Literally was a split second away from getting out of that inning.
Yeah.
Because there was a review that got overturned that called a runner safe. If that doesn't happen, ERA's under 1. But since then, lights out. The whole bullpen has pitched amazing. And now I'm hoping Orion Kerkering, I hope that was just the baseball god saying, hey, let's have some fun with this kid for a day. And because he's got good stuff.
Don't joke with the baseball gods, because I thought they were joking with Cade Horton saying, oh, we're just taking him out for precautions.
They're never taking him out for precautions when it relates to someone's arm.
But because it was 40 degrees out that day.
That is true.
So I thought because of the way he came out the field, it looked like he was just cramping. That's why, I don't ever joke with the baseball guys, because I thought he was just leaving because of a cramp.
He was just leaving because it's cramping. It's cold.
Because they initially said it was his wrist and not his forearm. That's why I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Anytime I hear forearm up, I'm concerned. But last couple starting pitchers I really want to talk about. The Yankees are off to a hot start. And they're not hitting the greatest. Aaron Judge's batting under 250. Now, Ben Rice is hitting the ball well. Still no Garrett Cole. But Max Fried and Cam Schlittler have been off to absolutely hot starts.
So where is Garrett Cole then?
Is he still hasn't been
the last game of spring training he pitched against the Cubs. and threw 2 perfect innings.
He threw live batting practice as of last Wednesday.
So why the hell did they
So
pick him in the spring training game?
because I have no idea.
It was the last spring training game, the Tuesday before because the regular season started Thursday. It was the Tuesday game. He pitched against the Cubs and went 2 perfect innings and struck out 4.
Well, here it is. It says he threw the scoreless frame against the Cubs. They moved him to the IL and they put him on the 15-day, not the 60-day. I guess just to ramp him up a little more. I guess maybe to make sure he's officially ready to come back because if Garrett Cole,
technically illegal though?
I don't know.
Because if you pitched, you can't just be put on the IL to be put on the IL. You actually have to list an injury. And they just said they put him on the 15-day IL to stretch him out more.
And of course, we're still waiting on Carlos Rodon to come back, but
I'm so confused.
Because he's had, since going to the Yankees, outside 2023, the last 2 years, he's been awesome for them.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's won 16 and 18 games in back-to-back years. So, but as of right now, with all those injuries to that staff, Max Fried is still just Max Fried. He is reliable as they come.
Yeah.
And outside of a couple unlocated fastballs last night, Cam Schlittler has been unhittable this year. Going into last night through his first 2 starts, he had like 3 base runners.
Yeah. He does that. He does that a lot, though. Like, Cam Schlitter is a good pitcher, but he goes through these runs where he looks like one of the top pitchers in baseball. But then he'll also have like a stretch where he couldn't get a high school kid out.
And the problem is because they were saying on the broadcast his philosophy in pitching is my best pitch is my 99-mile-an-hour heater, hit it. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to be like that, but if you don't have some secondary options, like mostly you see the four-seamer, you see the sinker. He tried early on in the game to establish his cutter. Wasn't establishing at all. He was getting to a lot of 3-ball counts, and that's what hurts him. He doesn't have a lot of secondary pitches that don't go 95 plus. If you're, like I said, if you're going to have a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, you're going to throw gas. That's fine, but you need to have something to complement it.
That sounds like another former New York Yankee and Jabba Chamberlain.
Well, the biggest mistake the Yankees made was trying to make Jabba Chamberlain a starter.
I know, but that was his philosophy too, though, when they made him like a reliever. Like, he's like, my best pitch is my 98-mile-an-hour fastball. It has no movement. I'm just going to throw it as hard as I can throw it.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the point, though. As a reliever, it's a little different. You don't need you're not going to see guys 2 or 3 times through a game. You're going to see a guy basically 1 time. That's okay. But as a starter, you need to have stuff. Like, I'll give another example. Andrew Painter. Let's look at his first start against the Nationals. He looked great. 5 1/3, 8 strikeouts, throwing the fastball effectively. The biggest sign in that, he got to the 6th inning. Pitch count in the mid-80s, was still touching 96, 97. The problem was, in his second start against San Francisco, they're not as young of a team as the Nationals. They have more of a veteran lineup. So the Nationals, they were up there trying to throw haymakers at him.
Yeah.
And the Giants, now, look, he didn't pitch terrible against the Giants. He allowed 4 runs in 4 innings. And he only had 1 really bad inning where he allowed 3 runs. But the problem was he was trying to go so fastball heavy, and the Giants were getting good contact on him in the first couple innings. They didn't allow any runs, but he allowed 4 hits. They were getting good swings off him. He wasn't trusting the breaking stuff.
We got breaking news from the Chicago White Sox. Opening day starter and ace Shane Smith has been optioned to AAA Charlotte after posting a 10.80 ERA over 3 starts and 9 walks.
We'll do it.
And this is a guy who was a Rule 5 pick last year by the White Sox, who not only emerged as their ace, but was actually one of the better pitchers in baseball for a good 2 or 3 months last year. And now all of a sudden he has forgotten how to throw strikes. Sounds like Mike. Right. He's being replaced by Schweitzer, Tyler Schweitzer, who is a left-handed pitcher. A 25-year-old is 0-0 with a 1.80 ERA in 2 minor league starts this year.
You brought up the not able to throw strikes. It sounds like Michael Kopech when he was a starter with the White Sox.
So for his career, Schweitzer is 22-15 with a 4.13 ERA and has 342 strikeouts in 164 innings. Holy shit, can he put guys out? That is almost just 2 strikeouts an inning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, I think so. Nola had a bounce back start against the Rockies, and now I think pitching in that ballpark at San Fran today helps him more because of him not being, that high velocity starter. He doesn't rely on velocity; he relies on command and movement. I think, and Tyler Mayo's on the bump for the Giants today. He hasn't had a great couple starts to start the year. Hopefully, the Phillies can get out of there with a win and get off this West Coast trip because I'm tired of watching games at 9:50 at night. But before we get off the show tonight, I figure we could do some predictions for today's games. We'll pick some winners. Andrew, I did not watch the game, but I did see the Royal Rumble match that turned into the Braves and Angels game.
That was amazing. Did you see the one with the Brewers the other night?
No, that one I didn't.
Oh, you got to watch that.
We got some base brawl going on over here. Is this TNA wrestling?
I am waiting for Wilson Contreras to get, or not Wilson Contreras to get suspended from the Red Sox.
Wilson.
Wilson from the Red Sox. I am waiting for him to get suspended.
I'm waiting for Jose Contreras to mount a comeback.
For what some of the comments that he made after that brawl against the Brewers.
Are they brothers?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, they have to be brothers because they look damn near identical. Speaking of the Brewers, why did we not pick that? Why did we pick against them?
It's not okay.
How do they keep doing this?
You start the season against the White Sox. I
don't care.
I'm not going to. You start the season against the White Sox. Like it's the
I don't care.
We're not the only ones that pick against them. We're really not, because even like I was watching something the other day with David Kaplan, who is a Cubs beat writer, and then Gordon Whitmer, who writes for the Reds, and they had somebody from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel on with them, who obviously covers the Brewers. And even the guy from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel was picking the Brewers to finish in 4th place this year. Like, if guys from Milwaukee are picking the Brewers to finish in 4th place, it's not just us kind of doing the same thing. Because the guy made a good point. He's like, you look at all the deals the Brewers have made the last 5 years, whether it's Wade Miley, whether it's getting Rhys Hoskins, whether it's all these trades that they've made. You're trading for guys that are either injured, that are either struggling to remain on a roster, that have been bench players most of their career. And the moment they get to Milwaukee, they turn into Cy Young candidates. They turn into MVP candidates. They do like all these things. It's like everything the Brewers have done the last 5 years turns into gold. And he's like, at some point, that strategy is going to not work. That strategy is going to backfire in your face. And he's like, losing Freddie Peralta this year is, I think, the first time that you're going to see this Brewer strategy backfire in their face, because they have a lot of young pitching talent. Nobody's going to say that they don't, but they don't have that frontline ace like Freddie Peralta has. And then you went through the lineup and you're like, Andrew Vaughn is not going to do what he did last year when he came to Milwaukee. Is William Contreras going to have the year that he had last year in Milwaukee? Like, there's a lot of things that the guys like, there's no way these players can do what they did last year. There's no way they can do. And here we go again. They're doing exactly what they've done the last 5 or 6 years. Like, if anybody else tried this strategy that the Brewers do, it wouldn't work. Like, the Cubs have tried it. The Phillies have tried it. Every other team in the National League has tried this strategy that the Brewers have tried, and it backfires in their face. But yet when the Brewers do it, it works.
I think, well, and to the Freddie Peralta thing, I mean, Freddie hasn't pitched well to start the year either. He's got an ERA over 4.8. So
pitching in New York is a different animal, though. He's going from
I understand that.
Smallest market
but I'm saying,
in the majors.
When they moved off Peralta, I think the expectation was for Mizorowski to take over that frontline ace role, which he's not going. He's looked pretty electric so far. So, but it's not just that. It's not just coming off this past year. We have done this every year with the Brewers. It feels like for the last 4 or 5. It's like every year we pick. And You're talking about them turning things from garbage into gold. Even let's go back to Christian Yelich when he first got there. Now in Miami, he was a good player.
That's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't like
Milwaukee, he's an elite player.
he wasn't like a lot of the trades that the Brewers make, where you're trading for somebody who is either a bench role player that hasn't had a role. Like Yelich was still a 290 hitter with the Marlins. He was still hitting 20 home runs, so he was a very solid player with the Marlins. But then he goes
that Marlins team.
Then he goes to the
disbanded?
Brewers. Then he goes to the Brewers in his first 2 years in Milwaukee. He was an MVP candidate. Like, granted, he's never gotten to that level again because injuries and all that have kind of taken its toll on him. But last year, he had the best year he's had since his MVP year.
Like, yeah, he finally got healthy-ish,
Yeah.
and also what's helped him later in his career now is having the universal DH because now he can stay out of the field some days.
Yep.
Just real quick. Yeah, Andrew, they're winnable series. Arizona hasn't been great, and neither of the Cubs. So those are both winnable series. Not gonna say they're, and I could see 5-1, a 5-1, 4-2 stretch maybe.
You're gonna go 6-1 against the Cubs, Andrew. Don't worry.
No, we're not. Don't discredit yourself.
Really?
Edward Cabrera's going to throw 6 shutout against us.
That's the game. Yeah, that's the game you're gonna win because the first series you get Javier Assad, Colin Ray, Edward Cabrera.
Oh dear.
And then the second series you get Imanaga, Tyone, Assad, and Ray. You miss Cabrera the second series.
Somehow.
So yeah, you're gonna go 6-1.
But yeah, I just like I said, I just don't understand how the Brewers keep this up, man. I really don't.
I mean, you look at prime example is Wade Miley. Like Wade Miley's not even in baseball anymore. The guy was a 500 pitcher at best, if not an under 500 pitcher most of his career. He goes to Milwaukee not once, but twice on 2 different occasions as a free agent. And in those 2 years, he goes 23-9 with like a 2.96 ERA. All of a sudden, the Cubs are like, oh, he pitched well. Let's sign him to a 1-year, $9 million deal. Sign him to a 1-year, $9 million deal. Makes 7 starts the next year. Blows out his elbow. Done. Goes to Milwaukee the next year. 11-6 with a 2.54.
What's in the water in Milwaukee? I need to know.
Brandon Morrow. Remember the old Dodger closer?
Oh, I remember Brandon Morrow.
I think he goes like what was like a 1.31 ERA in 2017. Was like one of the best setup men in baseball for like a 2-year stretch. Cubs are like, oh, let's go sign him to a 3-year, $30 million deal. Make him our closer. Pitched 11 games in his 3-year contract. But then the Brewers go and get a guy named Trevor McGill, who is a 4.86 career ERA, injury histories galore, saves 39 games last year. Like there are teams that take the same approach the Brewers take. And the Cubs are one of those teams because Craig Counsell was in that Brewers organization. He knows the approach the Brewers took a lot of the time. So, yes, the Cubs are spending a lot more money. You can see that with the Dansby Swanson contract, the Bregman contract, and some of the contracts they've given out. Like, they're spending more money than the Brewers are obviously spending. But when it comes to, like, rounding out their bench and rounding out their bullpen, they're taking the same approach in Chicago that the Brewers took when Counsell was the manager, where they're not necessarily looking at guys who have struggled the year prior, but they're looking at guys like throughout their career, like, oh, the guy had a bad 2025, but his 3 years up to 2025, he was good, or his last year he was good, but the 3 years heading into last year, he wasn't very good. So they're taking that same approach that the Brewers have always taken, but for whatever reason, it doesn't work in Chicago.
It doesn't. It's just their team. It doesn't work with the Phillies either. The Phillies tried it. Now the Phillies have to go with veteran late in teams because they don't have that type of system where they can do it.
And like Phil Maton right now is a prime example. Like Phil Maton for the Texas Rangers last year had a 2.79 ERA, and he's been like one of the best relievers the last 4 years. I think he's got like a 2.68 ERA the last 4 years. Cubs are like, we'll give you 3 years at $24 million to be our setup man. Guy's got a 13.80 ERA right now.
Yikes.
Like that's a move that the Brewers would make. The Brewers would look at him like, oh, you got a 2.8 ERA pitching for Texas in that ballpark. Come to Milwaukee. Guy would probably have like a under a 1 ERA right now in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a formula that the Brewers have mastered that nobody else can. We're never gonna understand it.
I think their luck is gonna run out eventually, but the thing is they also have the number one farm system in baseball.
Yeah.
So if their luck runs out, then they have two options. You bank on your farm system and just trust all your young guys, or if your luck runs out in terms of like your free agent luck and some of the moves you make, you freaking gut the farm system and go get the talent to balance it out.
Exactly. I mean, the last marquee player they've probably acquired in a trade was probably Christian Yelich. Everybody else is.
I think Corbin Burns, but he was acquired. Okay, right. I think he was acquired as a minor leaguer, though he wasn't like approved.
Yeah, so I'm talking about. Like an established talent is probably the last one was Christian Yelich.
I mean, Andrew Vaughn last year, but I mean, Andrew Vaughn was having a horrible time with the White. He was having a horrible time with the White Sox, but he was still a top 100 prospect at one point with the White Sox. Like he wasn't a slow. William Contreras, their catcher.
Okay, yes, that's Braves. And for a while there, I didn't know what the Braves were thinking by doing that, but Drake Baldwin looks pretty damn good.
Yeah,
he is swinging it good. The Braves are actually give Braves credit. They're getting through this rough patch with all these injuries right now. They're hitting the ball pretty well. They carried that spring training offense.
They know they have to hit it. They know they have to hit it because they don't have the pitching otherwise.
Nope. I mean, Ronaldo Lopez has looked okay so far. He's had a couple of solid starts. Chris Sale. But yeah, that's another team in the NL East. I keep saying, you brought up the Mets. We got to see how they survive the next few weeks without Juan Soto, because I will tell people in any sport, a calf injury is not something you take lightly. Go ask Kevin Durant what a calf injury does.
Go ask Giannis. Go ask Tatum. Go ask Halliburton.
Yeah,
go ask any of those guys.
Oh, speaking of the devil, here comes our Mets fan. What's up, Brian? Good morning, brother. But can
you imagine the Marlins pitching staff of the Braves offense, or vice versa?
With the Brewers' talent and farm system search.
Well, I mean, the Marlins
it's an elite organization.
I mean, the Marlins have like a top 6 farm system, so that's why I said them. But can you imagine if the Marlins
just trade it all away?
Like, can you imagine if the Marlins had the staff they have now, or even the staff that they could have had with Alcantara, Cabrera, Luzardo, Weathers, and Rogers, and then you give them the Braves offense?
So that's the 105-win team.
And most of those guys, like for the Marlins, outside of Alcantara, still have 3-4 years of control. You look at a lot of the Braves hitters, apart from Albies, Olsen, and Acuna. A lot of those guys still have 3-4 years of control and haven't been paid yet.
Yeah. But no, Brian, that was a very impressive win yesterday by the Mets without Juan Soto. It's just my concern is with Soto is how long does this calf injury linger? Because not all the time, but sometimes with these calf injuries, that's why I brought up Kevin Durant. Look where it depending on if it's at that lower point of the calf, what's that connected to?
Achilles. Achilles.
One of the worst injuries you can suffer. And when you're a baseball player and an outfielder, it was funny. I was watching MLB Network and they were like, Soto had a big year last year when he was stealing a lot of bases. That ain't happening this year now. That's my only concern right now and yes, I think they'll, as long as their pitching keeps them in games, I'm not sure. Their offense to me is still spotty especially without Soto, because they have a lot of guys that haven't always consistently performed. Like Luis Robert's off to a hot start. I haven't seen Luis Robert hit like this in 3 years. Can he keep it up? Can Polanco keep it up? Can Bichette get going? He had a rough start to the first few series of the season.
Here's my question with Robert, though.
Okay. He looks good, though. I ain't gonna lie. Luis Robert looks good.
He's healthy, so that does help. Being healthy does help because he had so many calf and quad injuries last year where he had no legs.
Hold on. I'd have a bunch of injuries, too, if I was playing in front of 12 people.
Well, that was what I was about to say. But like for him, like when you have lower leg injuries like he dealt with last year, you're not going to be able to swing a bat because you're not getting any strength from your legs. Like you're swinging all arms, and that's not going to do you any good. Do you think he's actually playing well now because of the environment that he's in? Because when the White Sox made the playoffs in 2021 with Tony La Russa, Robert was a 30-30 guy.
I forget Tony La Russa was that manager of that team. Oh my god.
But Robert was a 30-30 guy and almost a 40-30 guy when they made the playoffs in 2021. So when he has played in a winning environment, he's done well. And I think just being as bad as the White Sox were last year, as bad as they were the year before that when they set the record for most losses in a season, I think losing weighs on a player. As much as people don't believe that, like losing in that regard weighs.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it does. And also, I think I know I said going into the season, I didn't know how much better the Mets lineup really was compared to last year. Because I mean, yes, you brought in Bichette, you brought in Polanco, but I didn't know, were they offensively big upgrades from like a Brandon Nimmo, who was a really good player for you, a Pete Alonso. I wasn't saying it because I'm a Phillies fan. I'm questioning I felt like you're banking on a lot. Like you're banking for Polanco to still be a solid middle of the order bat. You're banking on Luis Robert to be healthy. You're banking on Bo Bichette to be healthy. You're banking on Marcus Semien to show that he still has a pulse at the plate. But
he has a pulse.
I think so. Okay, hold on there. But so far, I think that, I mean, Luis Robert, I think you put him around all those professional hitters now, because now in Chicago, he was kind of the elder statesman. They were a young team with all that losing. Now he's in a lineup full of veteran hitters. Now he can kind of just lay back. He's playing a good outfield with a solid pitching staff, and now he's not asked to be the best. He honestly, I could make the case here, talent-wise, he's the third best player on the team. Talent-wise.
I'd say second.
That's what he has, but I would still put Lindor and Soto ahead of him. But
Soto I'd put ahead of him. Lindor I wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Brian, here's the thing. Marcus Semien, if he is batting eighth in your lineup, he's a better defender than Jeff McNeil was. So that's why you basically got him. He doing much with the bat. He wasn't doing it in Texas either, so don't feel bad. But if he's at least playing a very good defensive second base for you, then you're fine. Because I'm pretty sure that's why the Mets got it.
And I mean, yes, they were also the same thing with Escobar though too. Like I think Brandon Nimmo is a better overall player, or not Escobar, Polanco. I think Brandon Nimmo is a better overall player than Polanco is.
Yes.
But I can tell you one thing: Polanco shows up in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Nimmo does not. That's another reason why you make that move.
Yeah, because, I mean, this was the team that Cinderella their way to the NLCS a couple years ago. Juan Soto should have been the guy to put them over the top with that, and they ended up collapsing in the playoffs. Another reason why Pete Alonso isn't there. They didn't show up in the playoffs, except when they played the Phillies. Brian, don't freaking remind me. I don't need to hear from you again. But no, I think, but back to Luis Robert, if he's healthy, I agree with you. He''s a top 3 talented player on that team. You'll put him ahead of Lindor. I right now am not there, but he could, because he could be almost close to a 5-tool player.
Well, that's why I hate injuries too, because up until he had all of the leg issues and everything, I actually kind of put him in that same category as Ronald Acuna. Minus the average, because Acuna was a much better average hitter than Roberts was. Like Roberts was never going to hit a 300. He was always going to be 270, 275, because there was still a ton of swing and miss in his game.
Yeah.
But Robert was still a 30-30, 40-40 type player. Ronald Acuna, before his knees decided that they wanted to give out a couple of years, was a 40-80 guy, 40-70 guy. Like Ronald Acuna and Luis Robert are pretty much the same exact player, where you have the speed and the power combination that they bring, and one's just a better average hitter.
Yeah. And also, you want to talk about two more Mets acquisitions. Yankee fans laughed at them all offseason by signing Luke Weaver and Devin Williams. Guys, let me explain something to you. When it comes to being a relief pitcher, okay, ballparks matter. When it comes to being a player in Major League Baseball, the ballpark you play in matters. Dustin and I had this conversation about Kyle Tucker all last year with Wrigley Field. Wasn't a good fit. Do you understand how hard it is to be a relief pitcher in Yankee Stadium when a routine 300-foot fly ball can leave the seat into the seats? Luke Weaver and Devin Williams now are in a little bit more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. Not by much, but a little bit more. They have posted 0 ERAs. Devin Williams so far has 2 saves, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. He hasn't given up a run. Luke Weaver has 5 innings, hasn't allowed a run. That kind of stuff matters. And now that they're in a ballpark that's a little more pitcher-friendly, Devin Williams looks like one of the best relievers in baseball again. Mm-hmm. He was in Milwaukee. So that was another guy we could have brought up with the Brewers. Devin Williams, best reliever in baseball there, goes to the Yankees, can't get anybody out. It's like, dude, how do they do this? But now with the Mets, he's starting to look elite again. And the Mets rotation at depth has been pretty solid. McLean's pitched pretty solid. Peralta's off to a slow start, but again, it's cold weather. Some guys don't like it. I say the same thing for Aaron Nola. That's why I think his opening day against the Rangers, Christopher Sanchez gets the pitch at 75 degrees outside. Nola comes back on Saturday. It's 45 with wind chills down to 36. Like, the guy can't win. The guy does not pitch well in the cold. And like I said, don't compare October weather to March. It's not even close.
No.
October, we're still getting some 70s.
Yep.
But where was Brian's other comment here he brought up? Because Brian's brother is a Tigers fan. He brought something up. Yeah, Brian, I don't know. Brian, here's the thing. They don't want to pay the best pitcher in baseball. Why would they go sign a big bat? They don't want to pay the best pitcher in the sport.
Who?
I think that's the Tigers, because his brother's a Tigers fan. So
Scubo's not the best pitcher in the sport.
Okay, one of the top 2 best pitchers in the sport. Okay, but still, it's still my point. They don't want to pay him. Why would they go sign a bat? Like, they should have been a team in on guys like Alex Bregman in the offseason and did. They just continue, and it's killing them. The same. I mean, you brought it up earlier. This is the same. When we were talking about Taj Bradley and how lackluster some of the AL Central offenses are. The Tigers' offense is the reason the Guardians won the division last year. The Tigers' offense in the second half of last season literally went on like a 8-week straight of brutal to watch. And outside of Kevin McGonigal, he swung the bat pretty well to start the year. They are not getting a lot of offensive production from anybody.
No.
What are they? They don't have the bats. I don't know if they have the bats to compete with this, because the rotation looks solid. Scooble's looked okay. Fromber's pitched well. Flaherty's struggling. Mize got roughed up in a start or two.
Yeah. I think what you said about the bats, though, I think the Tigers are more so nervous, because if you look at the last 2 major contracts they gave out for bats. Prince Fielder had 1 or 2 good years out of that 6-year deal. The rest of it was an injury-prone contract where he never reached the same level that he did with the Brewers.
And then they moved him to Texas.
They went after Alex Bregman, couldn't get him. They offered Alex Bregman a good contract, they just couldn't get him, so that was a bat that they went after that they couldn't get. And then you look at this Javi Baez deal. They've spent money on bats. But when they've done it, the player either gets hurt and never reaches the level that they wanted him to, or in Javi Baez's case, he's not the player he was in Chicago. Yeah. They've tried to get these big bats to sign with the Tigers, and when they do, it ends up looking like a horrific contract. So it's not that the Tigers don't want to sign bats. I just think they're afraid to, because of the kind of the track record they have with signing big bats, as opposed to when they go and sign a starting pitcher, whether it be Verlander, Scherzer, Framber Valdez. They have more success when it comes to signing
pitchers. Great for guys like Doug Fister, who had a really good run in Detroit for a little bit.
Yeah. Like they've had a lot more success signing pitchers than they have with bats. It's not like I just think it's more of they're cautious when it comes to sign. They know they need more offense, but I think they're hoping that help comes from within as opposed to having to go and spend money on the market for an offensive player knowing the track record they have.
Yeah, like instead of having to trade for a bat, they're hoping Kevin McGonigal can be the bat, that kind of.
Which is like the Chicago Cubs too, like 2014 through 2016. Schwarber, Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, and Soler. Like they didn't need to go and sign many bats because they were getting all the help from within. They went out and got guys like Dexter Fowler and David Ross and Jason Hayward, even though Jason Hayward didn't do anything offensively. But like they had those 5 guys in the minors for that 4-year stretch where they were getting all of their offensive help from within. The Cubs had to go and sign starting pitching because they couldn't develop starting pitching. So they got Lester, John Lackey, Jason Hamill. They traded for Arrieta. They traded for Kyle Hendricks. Like their entire World Series starting staff was nobody from within their organization.
No,
it was all trades.
You're forgetting some. You're forgetting there is a bat in there that you're forgetting about.
Zobrist.
You brought up Jason Hayward.
Zobrist. Yeah.
Don't forget about Ben Zobrist.
I said Zobrist. Yeah, I said
Zobrist. I didn't hear you say Zobrist. My bad.
No, yeah, Zobrist was there. And then you look at the Cubs now. They just traded away Owen Casey to the Marlins to get Cabrera. Moises Ballesteros was their top hitting prospect. He's up in the majors.
First career bang last night I saw.
That was his 3rd career home run.
I forgot he was on the team. I forgot he had a cup of coffee up here last year. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. So you have Matt Shaw, one of their top hitting prospects, is up in the majors right now. Michael Busch, who was the Dodgers' top hitting prospect a couple of years ago, up in the majors right now. PCA, we know what PCA is. So like a lot of their they signed Alex Bregman, but a lot of their hitting, again, it's come from within the organization. Like they've counted on their bats throughout the system. They've seen what their bats can do, and now they're letting them go. You look at the Cubs starting pitching staff right now. Jameson Taillon, free agent signing. Matthew Boyd, free agent signing. Imanaga, free agent signing. Colin Ray, free agent signing. Justin Steele and Cade Horton are their only 2 starters from within the organization to go down with injuries. That's like the Tigers. Like the Tigers are so afraid to sign hitters because the track record they've had. So they are more confident to give pitchers the long-term deals. The Cubs are the exact opposite. They don't sign a lot of hitters via free agency because they've had that track record with their prospects coming through the system and being able to produce. They're always so sketchy to sign pitchers long-term because injury histories and because they're hoping they can get guys to come through the minors and contribute like Horton and Justin Steele were, but now they're both hurt. So the Cubs are like, well, we have the resources to get hitting. We just need to trade or sign pitching because we don't have it the opposite way. So some teams just kind of have a track record where it's like we're more comfortable doing it this way as opposed to that way.
Yeah, that's like the Phillies. They don't develop many hitters. They go out. They had that one little stretch with Rollins, Utley, Howard, but like, all right, Pat Burrell too, but like outside of that, Carlos Ruiz was an international free agent. Jason Worth was from the Dodgers organization. Aaron Rowan was from the White Sox. Shane Victorino, same thing. Raul Ibanez was with the Mariners. And now if you look at the Phillies now, remember when Bryce Harper signed here? And they were like, oh, look at this team now with Hoskins and Maikel Franco. Yeah, there's a name for you. And Odubel Herrera and Cesar Hernandez. Now look at the team. Bryce Harper, free agent. Bryson Stott, all right, from the system, not a great hitter. Trey Turner, free agent. Alec Boehm, solid player, not great. JT, trade.
Yep.
Adolis Garcia, free agent. Only one now they have really that's homegrown, Brandon Marsh, trade. It's Justin Crawford. Speaking of Justin Crawford, why don't we jump into some rookies that have opened some eyes to start the year?
I just got a quick question for you before we do that. If the Phillies had a chance to do it over, do you think they give Bryce Harper the deal that he has now?
Because, okay, here's how I look at it. And I understand that,
Or do you think they give him opt-outs?
No.
I don't. I mean, He's still a good player. I'm not going to say that he's not, but you can admit that he hasn't produced at the level.
I've seen a little bit dip in the bat speed. He's having a harder time catching up to some heat.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think if the Phillies could redo the contract, they would give him the 14-year deal, but I think there would be either opt-outs tied in it for him, or the team would have options where it's like we can move on after this.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to go with that. Number one, if they were going to redo the contract, I actually think they may have tried to have actually gone less years with the same.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would have been like 10. I think it would have been like 10, not 14.
Maybe an option. The Phillies, it wasn't just a Bryce Harper decision back in 2019. The Phillies also do not like doing opt-outs. Bo Bichette's original asking price from the Phillies was 7 years and $210 million. And there were no opt-outs. The Phillies agreed to it. But then the Mets came in and offered him the 3-year 124 with opt-outs, and he said, well, I'll make $42 million. I can hit the market again next year. The Phillies do not like doing opt-outs with players. So the contract either way, Harper didn't want opt-outs. The Phillies didn't want the opt-outs. Neither of them wanted opt-outs. So I think I could have lessened the years, but now I think you're kind of looking at the point. And, I was listening to 97.5 The Fanatic right after opening day. And I don't know, Sean Brace brought up, there felt like there was a tension around the ballpark in the first couple of games with Bryce. I think a question I could ask is there a feeling within the that this isn't Bryce Harper's team anymore?
Well, I can tell you that it's not. It's 100% not his team.
I feel
the guy they brought back in free agency.
Yeah, I feel like Schwarber is kind of turning into that guy that
what Schwarber is doing is what they thought Harper.
Yes, and
that's exactly what he's doing.
To be fair, the first few years, 2019, he was awesome. 2020, shortened season. Not going to count that. 2021, he was the MVP. Then the elbow injury happened. Then his wrist got broken in 2022. But even when he was hurt in 2022, when he got his wrist broken and he missed all those weeks, when he came back, that 2022 postseason, that was special. Like that was, in my opinion, that was the best I've seen Bryce Harper play baseball in an 8-week stretch. That was special. 2023, same thing. He came back from the elbow injury after having Tommy John. He looked like that player still. 2023 postseason against Atlanta, he was awesome. Early on against Arizona, he was awesome. Then everything since then, it's been a small trajectory down. 2024, he was still really good, but that postseason against the Mets, he hit 300. The Mets didn't pitch to him. But that's just nobody else hit. And now I'm at the point where there's definitely a drop-off starting to where you may need to say Bryce Harper could still be a good player on a championship team. I could still see him being the third best player on that team. I don't know if he can be the catalyst now because there is... That's the bat speed. I can tell. I'm seeing this guy struggle to catch up to 92 miles an hour. I've seen 92 get blown by him, and I'm like, okay, now I'm concerned.
The thing with the numbers that Bryce Harper's putting up consistently, though, taking the MVP season out of it, because even his MVP season wasn't as good as what Schwarber did last year.
In his defense in 2021, OPS was great, hit for a high average, hit over 40 doubles, hit 35 homers. Nobody was on base in 2021. Nobody got on base.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, homer-wise. I'm just saying homer-wise. Like, Schwarber's homer total last year was still better than Harper's, like, MVP total.
Well, yes.
But, like, the numbers that Harper's put up consistently is that I think is what they expected Schwarber to do. A guy that was going to come in and get me 25, 30 home runs, maybe at a sporadic 35 homers here and there. But the numbers that Schwarber's been putting up consistently is, I think, what they thought Harper was going to do. 40-plus home runs every single year, a couple 50s here and there, even almost a 60. Like, Schwarber is doing what Harper was supposed to do at a fraction of the price that what Harper's getting. And that's why I said if the Phillies had an opportunity to redo the contracts, I think Schwarber gets what Harper
Yes,
gets.
and the other issue is also the report coming out that he asked for an extension with 8 years left on the deal. Hold on a second. I'm not
Yeah.
Bryce. Look, we love our stars in this city, but you're not going to come here and try to do that. You're not get. First of all, you're under contract till you're 36 years old.
And restructure the deal anyways. And I try to incentivize it.
Yeah, and also like it's really like the other issue is like now with Harper not being able to play the outfield anymore. I mean, he had to DH a lot to start that. Schwarber had to play left field. They can't sign a big bat that the Phillies kept getting linked to for the past couple of off seasons was Pete Alonso. They can't sign him because Bryce plays first base now. Bryce playing first base is what cost us Rhys Hoskins. I mean, and Rhys hasn't been great since he left Philly. He was okay in Milwaukee, but I mean, still, there's some logjam in this lineup. But no, I feel like Bryce Harper right now is still a good player.
Yeah, he is. He's not great.
I'm not trying to go with the whole not elite thing like Dave Dombrowski. I'm not trying to do that.
I'm getting close. I don't think he's elite anymore. And that's not a knock against Bryce Harper. It happens. There is that point in your career where your window of being an elite player is gone. And usually you have a 4 or a 5 year. We're not talking Shohei Ohtani, who's a damn unicorn, but usually as a professional athlete, whether it's NBA, NFL, NHL, baseball, soccer, whatever, you typically have a 4 or a 5 year window where you are elite and one of the best players in your sport. Once that 5 year window closes, your elite numbers and your elite category is no longer there. But that doesn't mean you're still not a very good to a great player.
Yeah,
I still think Bryce Harper is a great player.
Like we're not talking about the Chris Bryant drop off here.
No,
to where now he barely.
Right. I still think Bryce Harper is a great player, but he's not elite anymore. He is a great player, and you can win with great players. Schwarber is elite because of his production.
Yeah. And Grant, look, and I'm not taking this away from Kyle. Kyle's always been a prolific power hitter, but playing in Citizens Bank does not hurt your chances of being a big-time power hitter.
No.
That's why I still think Adolis Garcia is going to have a good year, and he's actually hit the ball pretty well. I could tell you that it is boom or bust with him with his chase rate sometimes, but it's okay. He's hitting 270 right now. He's fine. He's actually played a very, very good right field. So
I don't want to hear about chase. I don't want to hear about chase rate. I found a stat the other day about a guy in AAA right now that I don't know how he's even in AAA.
Is it Jarred Kelenic?
No, his chase rate is 86.8%. He's literally swinging at anything.
It's like the first time you play MLB The Show and you just think every ball you can hit, you're just swing.
Like unless you know it's a ball, like when it leaves the pitcher's hand, he is swinging.
It's Pedro Serrano with a curveball. Someone needs to find this guy Joe Boo.
I mean, the guy's got 7 home runs and 18 RBIs in 9 games. So it's working for him, but he's still swinging way too much.
Well, you better connect on some. You're swinging at everything. But yeah, I think I'm starting to get to that point. I don't think he's like when I hear top 5 players in baseball, I don't hear Bryce Harper's name anymore.
I don't even
hear
I don't even top 30.
Okay, I'm not gonna. That could be a possibility.
You have 30 teams in baseball.
Yes,
he's not even the best player in his own team. He's not even the second best player on his own team.
I don't know if I'm at that point yet. I still think he could easily be the second best player on his team.
Christopher Sanchez is the second best player in the Phillies.
I'm not counting pitchers.
I am. Because
how are you going to count a pitcher? You're going to compare a guy that pitches 30 games a year to a guy that plays 150, 130 on a bad day?
I don't care what anybody says. Paul Skeens is a top 5 player.
Okay, well, hold on. If we're counting pitchers, then Bryce Harper may be 5th because don't forget the guy that's coming back in a couple of in a week or two.
But if we're going, we can even go team by team right now. Is Ronald Acuna a better player than Bryce Harper?
Right now?
Yeah.
Most likely.
Okay. Aaron Judge.
That's not even a question. Judge is top 2 in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Roman Anthony.
I mean, Acuna's hitting 178 right now.
I still think he's a better overall player than Harper because of what he can do on the bases.
Yeah, Bryce Harper's not a. Here's the thing with Bryce Harper too. He's not a bad base runner. He's a stupid. He is an aggressively dumb base runner.
But I think Roman Anthony's a better player than Bryce Harper.
Roman Anthony hasn't played enough games yet for me to say that.
But after watching him in the WBC, though.
Okay, that's fine. Talk to me. Talk to me at the end of the season with Roman Anthony.
Junior Caminero.
Junior's a stud.
So that's another one.
Junior's a stud.
Vlad.
Okay.
Then you go, keep going. We have obviously Shohei, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Kyle Tucker. Those four on one team are all better than Harper.
Okay, hold on. I'll give you Shohei. I'll give you Freeman. I am fair. I am not putting Kyle Tucker in this conversation.
Okay, you gotta give me Betts though.
Yeah, I'll give you Betts.
So that's three.
I would have even said Betts was better than Harper a few years ago just because of how many positions. His versatility is ridiculous.
So that's already 3 players on one team there that are better than Harper. Tatis.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Machado. I mean, Machado is still producing.
Manny and Bryce, honestly, I will say Manny and Bryce have honestly both. I want to put them as equal just because of what they've both done for those franchises. Like they pulled both of those franchises out of mediocrity.
Yeah,
They were bad teams before they showed up.
Rafael Devers.
You
have to take the ballpark. You have to take into account the ballpark he's playing in now. That does.
I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that into account. I'm taking into account the teammate side of it. One guy bitched and complained because he had to play first base. The other guy willingly did it. I'm not giving you this. I don't like Rafael Devers, the teammate, so I'm not giving you that.
PCA. Because of everything he brings to the table, not just offensively, defensively, and base running.
I'll say that also because I think he plays a more valued position.
Yeah. Ellie.
Not the first base isn't a value position, but PCA is a freaking center fielder.
Ellie. Same thing. What he brings to the table with everything, not just the offense, just everything.
Ellie's just a freaking alien playing baseball.
Jackson Chourio.
Yeah, Churrio's a stud.
So, I mean, that's already 17, 18 players in the National League that Harper's behind.
Okay.
He's not a top 30 player in baseball anymore.
So who else would we have here?
Wyatt Langford.
Okay.
Wyatt Langford's a stud.
He could be.
Seager's
well, him and Harper basically have the same bill of health.
Yeah, but Seager still hits a 300 though. He doesn't have the power numbers that he once had, but he still hits a 300.
Seager also won World Series MVP. Bryce Harper didn't.
Yeah. And then we sticking in that division. What's the guy's name? I can't think of it. Oh, Kurtz. Nick Kurtz is a freaking stud.
Nick Kurtz, he may be he's going to be tops in the league every year at exit velo. That guy can swing it, man.
Nick Kurtz, I think, is better than Harper right now. And despite being hurt for whatever seems like the last 10 years, Mike Trout looks like a different Mike Trout this year.
Oh, Mike Trout. I want to get Mike Trout in the Phillies so Harper really can be the 5th player on the team.
But I'm just saying, Mike Trout looks like the Mike Trout of old this year. Like he looks like a different.
He looks healthy.
He's better than Bryce right now.
He looks like Mike Trout again. That's what.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Okay, Bobby Witt's a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah. I think Byron Buxton, just because of the position value. Same thing as PCA.
Oh, you want to talk about a guy that hasn't been on the field. Holy crap.
But when he's on the field, though, position value, what he brings to the table offensively and defensively, Buxton's better.
He could be affiliated by the deadline.
Tigers,
I need an outfielder.
Tigers, I wouldn't say anybody really on the Tigers.
Bryce Harper would be the best player on the Tigers.
Yeah. Jose Ramirez.
Okay, Jose, another one. Top 10 in the league.
Yeah. That puts Harper right around 30.
Yeah, and I mean he's going to have to really start to. I mean he's had a good road trip, but again, like where's the consistency in all this?
Because when I think of an elite player, I'm thinking top 20. So
I'm gonna agree with that.
Harper being around 30, he's still a great player. He's just not elite anymore.
Yeah, and again, he's just like
And it's not a slap in the face to him because even at very good, I would take 30 plus home runs, 90 plus RBIs every single year.
yeah, and honestly, like again, and again, he's not getting younger. I mean, he's 33.
Yeah.
I mean, so far this year,
At least he's still
he's
playing baseball. Chris Bryant, who had a better start to his career than Bryce Harper
I
had. Chris, like, say what you want about Chris Bryant. The guy was off to a Hall of Fame caliber start when you look at his first 5 years in the league. Rookie of the Year, MVP, another MVP type season in 2017. 2018, the guy missed like 60 games and still put up 20 plus home runs. And then 2019, he was back to hitting 30 and 100. And then all of a sudden, go to COVID, come out of COVID, and the guy just can't stay healthy.
Nope.
Like his first 5 years in the league, he was off to a Hall of Fame start. And since then, it's been nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, this is how I've always judged Bryce Harper. I judge Bryce Harper off his batting average a lot because it tells a lot of the story about him. Since coming to Philly, first year he hit 260. Okay, that year it was a little down. He hit 270 in 2020. Again, I don't care about the COVID shortened season.
Mm-hmm.
2021 he hit 309. That was his MVP year. Even in 2022, he only played 99 games. That's when he got his hand broken. He hit 286. 2023, he only played in 126 games, but he missed the first month. I think it was like the first month and a half with the Tommy John surgery. He hit 293. But once again, 2022, 2023, those postseasons, he was awesome. 2024, he still hit 285. Still had 30 homers, still had 87 RBIs. OPS was still hovering around the 900 mark. Last year, similar numbers, 27 homers, 75 RBIs, but the average is down to 261. Now, this year so far, I mean, it's only 11 game sample size, but he's hitting 214.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I see with Bryce Harper right now is what is the status of that wrist injury that apparently he had in 2024 that carried over to last year? And it's like, oh, it's something he has to manage. There's nothing we can do to help this? Because I will tell you right now, do you want to know when Bryce Harper is hitting at his best? When that ball is going into left center field.
Mm-hmm.
When Bryce Harper is in his pull happy mode, that's what drives me nuts about him. Because that is when he is swinging hard at high fastballs. That's when he is swinging hard at breaking balls in the dirt. Because I'll tell you something. Have you ever seen Bryce Harper's pull swing? It is violent. Like he is that's the kind of ball that if you connect on, that's when you say, Bryce, that ball had a family.
That's
like,
why Bryce Harper also had
violent
Tommy
swing.
John. That's why he also had Tommy John too, because that swing was so freaking violent. He was going to blow his elbow apart.
That he loves to throw the ball from the warning track when he played right field every day.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the cannon to do it. But again, the Tommy John messed him up to play the outfield ever again. But when Bryce Harper's getting that front leg down on time, and that ball's going the left center field, whether it's in the gap, down the left field line, into the left field seats, that's when he's at his best. I have not seen that swing in almost 2 years.
Right.
So, like, I'm sorry to get to that agreement with you, and there is nobody that is a bigger Bryce Harper guy than me. I was at the game in 2023 when he stared down Orlando Arcia twice. I went down to the team shop that night and impulsively bought his jersey because I had not updated. My most recent Phillies jersey before that was Hunter Pence.
Hunter!
Well, that was also because we went a decade of guys not worthy of buying a jersey for. So, until I see that Bryce Harper again, that is where the concern lies here. Because I still think Harper has the time to still get to those points where he could still have some very good years. I mean, he's 33. I still think we could get 2, 3, maybe 4 more really solid years out of him. But again, he's under contract. But I said this when they signed him. Did you expect him to be an elite player when he's 39 years old? No. What player is going to be elite at 39? Unless you're Jamie Moyer.
Shohei.
Okay. Shohei's not going to be hitting and pitching when he's 39.
He doesn't have to go. So he hit 60 home runs at freaking 39.
That's my point, though.
Aaron Judge, he'll probably be hitting 60 home runs at 50.
You remember Aaron Judge in the beginning of his career where he would hit like 50 homers, then he would hit 27, then he would hit 50 again, then he hit 27. Now he's hitting 50 a year.
Yep.
Give the Yankees credit. They're winning right now, and he's not hitting the best. He's not been awful, but they're
He'll
pitching.
get on a heater. When the weather warms up in about a couple weeks, he will get on a heater.
Hitting season, baby. All right, let's jump in now that just took us completely off the rails. That conversation went way insane. Let's get into some rookies so far. Big news this morning. Connor Griffin gets the big deal. What was it? 9 years, 140?
Yeah.
I believe they said that's the biggest contract in Pirates history.
Yep.
Once again, we are seeing the trend. Teams are going to pay their players before they even hit the field, because they're going to try to avoid the super team aspect of this whole thing, and they're going to try to avoid. I mean, basically, what you're also doing is you're buying out guys the arbitration years too. That's basically what you're doing.
Can I just throw a quick football note in here? I know this is a baseball show.
I don't care.
Looks like the Packers are about to sign Russell Wilson.
Oh, dear God. Well, they need a backup.
Yeah.
They do need a backup after Malik Willis left. So that makes sense.
It's actually not bad. It's actually not a bad decision, though, either, because he's beloved in Wisconsin.
That is true. I forget he was a Badger.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So, but outside of Connor Griffin, I mean, he's had a solid. He had a double his first career at bat. I think he had 2 hits last night.
Yeah.
What are some other?
Did you see the Ken Griffey comparison?
Oh dear God! The kids played 6 games. Not even 6 games.
No, yet. But did you see the comparison though?
No, I didn't.
So Ken Griffey
Ken
Griffey Jr.'s first ever baseball game was like 1988, 1989, whenever he started. Ken Griffey Jr.'s first at bat was a double. Connor Griffith's first at bat was a double. Ken Griffey Jr.'s second at bat was a strikeout. Connor Griffith's second at bat was a strikeout. Ken Griffey Jr.'s third at bat, RBI single. Connor Griffith's third at bat, RBI single.
That's kind of weird. That's kind of scary.
Prior to the game, Connor Griffith pulled a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card out of a card deck.
Yeah, that's not the baseball gods playing jokes on us, and I don't know what is. So, outside of Connor Griffin so far, I mean, he's batting 176. I mean, he's getting off. I'm sure he'll get going eventually. Who are some other rookies that we so far have seen that they showed some things?
Oh, freaking Chase DeLauder.
Yeah, Chase DeLauder's off to
a freaking of the damn Guardians. I think he's got like 6 or 7 home runs right now.
He'll be traded by next year.
No, he's there. I think he's their top prospect. He ain't going anywhere. Guardians
crap.
Guardians don't trade their prospects. That's
no, they wait till they're 5-time All-Stars, then they trade them.
Not Jose Ramirez.
It's only one left.
I know, but that was a prospect though. Like if they have prospects, they don't trade him because they freaking hung on to Shane Bieber until his arm fell off. Like same thing with oh Christ, I'm gonna hate myself if I don't get this guy's name right. Pitched in the World Series against the Cubs. He was their number 1. 3 games he pitched in that World Series. Oh my God, it was like the best year he had.
Was it Kluber?
Yes, Corey Kluber. Rode him in Cleveland until his arm fell off. Traded him away, and he was never the same. Like, the Guardians hold on to their prospects as long as they possibly can before they trade them. And usually when they trade them, it means that their time as being a good player is over.
Yeah.
Chase DeLauder's off to a great start. Sal Stewart with the Reds.
McGonigal's hitting the ball pretty solid so far.
Freaking Munetake Murakami.
Yes, but now what's he got, like 5 home runs already?
Yeah.
Have most of them not come off of breaking pitches?
No. First 3 run fastballs.
All right, so the catching up to the velocity thing wasn't maybe the biggest. I mean, he's only hitting like 200, but
I mean, he hasn't hit anything over 95 miles an hour yet. The first couple home runs were off of cutters that were like 93, 94, but it was still a fastball. He hasn't hit
yeah,
any like high velocity yet, but he's had home runs in his first 3 games, 4 home runs in his first 5 games. Like he came out the gate swinging.
yeah.
JJ Weatherholt of the Cardinals, he's off to a good start.
Justin Crawford's hitting 324.
Yep.
I will say that Justin Crawford may be the most stereotypical center fielder. You remember back when MLB The Show first came out, and every time you'd stand under a fly ball and the freaking outfielders get the legs going to throw it?
Yeah.
He's like the only outfielder I see still do that.
Yep.
He's got pretty solid. He has saved us a lot of runners moving from second to third on fly balls. He's got a cannon. And by the way, he hits just like Dad.
Yeah, he does.
He slaps the ball just like Dad. Holy crap. And everyone, oh my God. I'm so sick of Phillies fans. Oh, he doesn't hit the ball in the air much. He doesn't need to. Somebody was like, oh, well, his first 2 hits were 85 and 84 miles an hour. Did they get to the outfield? Yes. Then who cares?
Did anybody complain when Ichiro was hitting the bat ball? Because Ichiro showed as hell didn't hit the ball in the air a lot, and the guy had over 4,000 hits.
Go watch Crawford's double last night. He did almost the Ichiro bat twirl around over his head with the bat. It was so funny. It looked just like an Ichiro swing. Well, yeah, Crawford hits just like his dad. I think he's just going to be a good player. And it's like he'll have a bad game. Like last night, Robbie Ray took advantage of a young player, but Robbie Ray's pitched really well for San Francisco. So, but like he'll have a bad game. It will not bother him. Like he had a bad game against the Nationals the night before, and next game gets 2 hits and walks it off with an RBI in the 10th.
I got to send you the link on, I think it's this weekend. Ichiro Suzuki is going to be starting a game in Japan at 53 years old this weekend.
Do these guys not know retirement?
He's only playing 1 game, so I don't know what it's for. But they're allowing him to play 1 game for one of the teams in Japan this weekend. So I kind of want to watch it to see if he still got it at 53, and he probably does.
So 4 for 4.
4 for 4 with a homer.
Or a triple.
All right. Inside to Parker, leg it out.
And, Kevin McGonigal in Detroit, that's my Rookie of the Year favorite. 13 for his first 43. He's hitting 302. On base is close to 388. OPS is 850, 7 RBIs, 7 strikeouts to 6 walks. So a good little ratio there. And out of his 13 hits, 6 for extra bases, 5 doubles, 1 triple. Yet to leave the yard yet.
Yeah.
So a lot of rookies doing some damage early on, especially, like you said, DeLauder's having a good start to the year. Weatherholt in St. Louis, that kid looks like he's going to hit freaking 30 bombs. But definitely some interesting ones. Now, let's move on into something that I think that we probably should have talked about earlier on the show. Let's talk about the ABS. Let's talk about the ABS strike system. What are our thoughts on it so far? And I like it. I think it's helping the game. I like the crowd reactions that we get from it. I mean, we have players that are so confident they're right. They're just walking to first base, taking off their shin guard and their elbow guards. We got managers thinking they know better than the ABS system. It's great. It's great.
I'm still 100% sticking with my statement. I think he was just very cold and didn't want to be there that day.
This is going to put CB Buckner out of a job.
Well, I was going to say that because I got a text when you were talking about some of the rookies, but there's already growing tension between the umpires and the ABS right now.
Well, do your job better.
Some umpires feel like the ABS is holding them to an impossible standard.
Do your job?
Well, I mean, I can see what they're saying because whether you're a doctor, a referee, an umpire, any type of profession that you have, you're not going to be 100% perfect every single day at your job. like you're going to make mistakes at your job. No one has ever gone to work their entire life and never made a mistake. So like I get where they're coming from, where it's saying it's holding them to an impossible standard, because in reality it is. It's forcing them to be perfect when what? 4 games last year had a perfect umpire rating in baseball. Like it's not something that typically happens. But the ABS at least helps the game in terms of you're not giving guys 3 inches off the plate anymore. Now it's like you actually have to get the ball around the plate, and some of the like you're seeing how bad some of these umpire calls are. Like there's balls that are being called strikes that are 4 inches off the plate. There's pitches being called balls that are like right down the friggin' middle, just because the catcher set up in a bad spot, you didn't call it or whatever. But then you also see these balls too, where it's like less than a centimeter off the corner, and they call it a ball. And I'm like, those are the ones that I just get annoyed with. I'm like, if you're that accurate as a pitcher and you literally miss the corner by less than a centimeter, like just give it to the pitcher. Like that's a good pitch.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want umpires to get bad reps for. They're not like, look, they're not every umpire is god awful at their job. Not everybody's Angel Hernandez.
No, I mean CB Buckner's game the other day, like he has no ground to stand on saying like this is making him look bad. He had a freaking terrible game the other day.
CB Buckner, honestly, a lot of his terrible things this year have nothing to do with ABS. Some of them are just, it's like the play in Milwaukee at first base saying the guy never touched the bag. CB, what are we looking at, buddy?
Yeah. Like he had a horrible game behind the plate the other day. Like all the ABS calls that were called, like they all got overturned. Like he had a bad day behind the plate the other day. So he can't really say too much about, oh, this is giving us a bad look. It's like, no, you just had a really bad game behind the plate that day. And it happens. And like, I'm not going to say you don't deserve one.
Yeah, and then like there was the one with Trevor Story with the check swing. Mm-hmm. He appealed every other check swing in the entire game, and that one he didn't, and Story didn't swing. So it's like Story was upset. Like that's the issue that CB's having. Like yes, the ABS is also bad, but like he's having issues in the being a first base umpire. Like saying, "Oh, did he touch first base?" CB, what are we watching?
And the thing with like CB's game too, like we were going through. I was going through like there's a. I'm not going to call it X because I can't call it X, but there's a Twitter page. There's a Twitter page that you can find called MLB Scorecard, and it actually shows you like it grades out the umpire grades for every single baseball game that goes on. So I was checking that a lot last year when I found out the ABS was coming, because I kind of wanted to see like how bad the umpires were. And for the most part, most umpires are between 93 and 94. 6% accuracy, which is really good. Anything under 90% is considered bad, which there was a lot more of that last year than normal. But there was 4 umpires last year that called a perfect 100%, as in like they don't miss call. Like the one guy had 1 missed ball and 1 missed strike, but because they canceled each other out, it still counts as a perfect game because the strike was called a ball and the ball was called a strike. So it ends up canceling each other out. But there was one guy, he's 32 years old, like he's a super young umpire. And I think it was the Cardinals versus the Padres, I believe it was. His umpire scorecard was 100%. 0 missed calls. All the balls were called balls. All the strikes were called balls. Like he did not miss a single call in that game. 1 week later, his umpire score was an 84. So like you're gonna have a bad day behind the plate. Like it's gonna happen.
Exactly.
And like the ABS does help with that, because now, like I said, if you're getting strike calls 3 inches out of the plate, well, then you're kind of screwed as a hitter because you're literally going to be called out for everything at that point. But it does show you, I'm not going to say how bad the umpires are because they do have a hard enough job as it is, but it does show you how comfortable these umpires have gotten with the zone they've had. Because a lot of these umpires have like the same zone that they've had for years, where some umpires are very hitter friendly, so they call the zone tighter than normal. Some umpires are pitcher friendly, where they give you a bigger zone than normal, but like they've called the same zone over and over and over and over again for 20 years. And now we get to the ABS and they can no longer call those pitches strikes, because if you call it, it's going to get challenged and you're most likely going to get overruled. I think that's where some of these umpires are getting a little upset because of the whole standard things. It's like we've been calling it this way for like 20 years, and now because you want to bring this system into play, now people think they can challenge it all the time. Like, yes, everyone's going to be upset about a couple calls throughout the game, which you see that every year. Like every baseball game in history, there's like probably 3 or 4 strike calls that people are going to complain about. But for the most part, you don't have hitters and or pitchers, for that matter, complaining about a strike zone if it's consistent. And most of these umpires, whether it's a good zone or a bad zone, they've been consistent with their zone their entire career.
Yeah, and honestly, a bigger issue outside of ABS, a lot of issues that became of umpires and strike zone came when they decided on the TV broadcast to put that freaking box up there. Yeah. Because before then, you didn't know what the zone was.
Like, I don't mind putting the box up there, but do it on like a replay. Don't do it like as the pitch is being shown. Do it like on the replay and then be like, oh, that's where it missed. Like, otherwise, just like everyone yells at the TV, like, that's a strike, that's a ball.
Yeah, because now we have 18 million TV umpires watching the game and going on social media tweeting out how bad the strike zones are. Baseball was better when you didn't have any of that stuff.
And then you
like if you want
Derek Shelton.
Yeah, like you want to have a replay system for calls in the field. Look, Jim Joyce did that all by himself. The day that he called that guy safe in that perfect game for Armando Galarraga, you knew some type of replay system one day was coming.
So I don't understand, and maybe it's just me. I don't know how the record books work, but you see all the time, like after a game is finished, they go back and say, "Oh, we're going to give this guy a hit instead of an error, or we're going to give this guy an error." Why haven't they gone back and just given him that perfect game? Like you've seen this replay thousands, if not millions of times. You can find this game on YouTube. Like how have
we make documentaries on this thing?
Like how have you not gone in the record books and have been like, no, he threw a no hitter because the next batter he got out anyways. Like like you might have not been able to get. I mean, you can't really give him the perfect. That's hard because the guy was left on base, but I mean, you can probably go back in the record books and change it to like a perfect game because he would have got the perfect game. Like you see it like. 3 days after the game is completed. Oh, there was a scoring change in this guy's game on Sunday. Instead of a 3-hit day, he gets a 2-hit day with an error. I'm like, if you're changing that, like, why can't you change this?
Yeah, like, I've never understood how that can't just be switched in the record book to a perfect game, and then that's it.
I mean, you can even put an asterisk by it if you want, but like, he threw the perfect game. Like,
yeah.
Everybody saw it, and like Jim Joyce realized after the call was made that he made the wrong call because he even admitted that the next day when he was a home plate umpire that he made the wrong call. Like, if he's admitting he made the wrong call, like just be like, okay, well then we'll fix it in here. You get a perfect game.
Yeah, I've never understood. And then everyone's like, oh, well, you know, if they did that, they have to go back to so many other games and change. They're like, no, they don't.
And the thing I love about the ABS too, they show everybody in the stadium, the ABS, like where it's located. Just like regular instant replay, you can see like you can see the replay on the video board in stadiums, but you're not getting the same views that the umpires get. So like the instant replay that you see is the replay that we see on TV. But the umpires are getting like 5 or 6 different camera views that they can get from New York that we can't see. So like they're not actually looking at the same replay that the fans see in the stadiums. But when it comes to the ABS, everybody is seeing the same exact replay, whether you're on TV, the umpire, the players, the fans, you're all seeing that same exact replay. So you can see where the pitch is. You have no grounds to argue an ABS call. So I don't know what Derek Shelton was doing, and for those who don't know the story, Derek Shelton got thrown out, I think it was Monday, Sunday or Monday. No, Monday. He got thrown out of the game Monday with the Minnesota Twins because he argued the ball and strike call for the ABS after it went to replay, and it showed that it was a strike. And they kicked him out of the game because he argued a robot. My theory is it was 34 degrees that night. He just didn't want to be outside freezing, so he just wanted the umpire to throw him out. That's my thought on it.
I would hope so, because how do you argue a robot?
Like you can't defend it. And I think even after the game, like in this press conference, they were asking him about why he chose to argue the ABS call. He kind of just walked around the question and didn't answer him. Like you can't defend it, so you might as well just say I'm dumb. Like you can't defend it. Like what are you gonna argue? Oh, well, it was a strike by less than a millimeter. It shouldn't make a difference if it's one stitching of the baseball. Well, that's how the rule is written.
Welcome to ABS era.
Freaking Derek Shelton.
All right, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up today. Let's go with some. Let's go with some predictions for today. I feel like this is a little fun thing we can do. Let's go with what we got today. Now, I know it's kind of hard to predict baseball games, but still, we have a bunch of day baseball coming up here shortly in about an hour. We have first pitch in Cleveland at 1:10. So, actually, no, we actually have Pirates and Padres first pitches coming up in a half hour. So let's go through let's get some picks for today. Let's start off Pittsburgh and the Padres. Michael King's on the mound against Mitch Keller. And it looks like everybody's everyday lineups. Nobody.
I'm gonna go Padres in that one.
I'm gonna go Pirates. Manny's not in the lineup today.
I'm still gonna go I'm gonna go Padres in that one. Michael King is good.
Yeah, but Mitch Keller's been pitching pretty solid so far. I honestly think that
he has, but I'm just irritated now because of what happens this week. And then, son of a bucket loader. Paul Skeens has been in Major League Baseball 2+ seasons now.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Pirates face the Chicago Cubs 14 times a year, which means they face each other 4 times a year, twice at each park. So is it 8? This will be, and they play in this. So of the 9 series that the teams have faced each other, the Cubs have gotten Paul Skeens every freaking time. And they get him again. And they get him again on Sunday. Why can he not start today?
Because he started yesterday.
No, he started Monday. Bastards.
All right, next up, Guardians and Royals. Pitching matchup today, we have Joey Cantillo against Cole Ragans.
That's going to be a surprisingly good game because Joey Cantillo looks really good. He dominated the Cubs last Friday. I think he struck out like 8 in 4 innings. Like he's gotten off to a great start. Cole Ragans was one of the top trade deadline candidates last year and ended up getting hurt, I think, right around the All-Star break, which is why he stayed put. 7-5, 5-6. I'm gonna go Guardians. I just think Chase DeLauder is gonna be able to keep his hot streak going.
I'm gonna go Guardians too. Ragans has been hit around his first couple of starts, so it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows for him so far. I mean, he's only got a 3.60 ERA, but he has given up some runs.
I mean, he gave up 6 runs against the Brewers, though. So I mean,
speaking of the Brewers, they're in Boston. Shane Drowan's on the mound against Sonny Gray.
Red Sox.
Brewers, Red Sox can't hit.
Sonny Gray is 6-1 with a .75 ERA in his career against the Brewers. They're not going to need a lot of offense.
Well, Sonny Gray can allow 2 runs today, and that probably would be enough.
Yeah, but I like Sonny Gray in this one. Sonny Gray does well against the Brewers, and if you look at ESPN's matchup and bet predictor, the Red Sox have a 53.3% chance to win.
Orioles at White Sox. Kyle Bradish against Sean Burke.
Orioles have won 11 straight games against the White Sox. They've won 10 straight games at Chicago. It's going to be warmer today than yesterday. It's going to be 57 today in Chicago, not 27. Give me the Orioles to make it another win in it.
Give me the White Sox because Kyle Bradish does not look good throughout his first few starts. And I think they have a chance they can hit him around. Mariners on the road in Texas. Here you go. Brian Wu against Mackenzie Gore.
Give me the Rangers. Seattle has the worst batting average in baseball right now at 178.
I agree, and I hate the fact that I went against you when you talked about them losing Eugenio Suarez, and I played it down. They have been their top 3 hitters have been awful.
Yeah, because Suarez was the one that made him better.
And I'm not talking about Brendan Donovan either. I'm talking about the guys after that, 2 through 3, 2 through 4. My
Suarez was the one that made him better. Like Suarez in that lineup forced pitchers to pitch to some of these other guys, and now that he's not there, they don't have to pitch to him.
Wrapping up the World Series rematch, Blue Jays Dodgers, Shohei against Dylan Cease. Oh, there's a matchup.
Cease got rocked his last outing against the White Sox.
Hey, it's former team.
Yeah. I think the Blue Jays avoid the sweep, but I think it's going to be an extra inning win. I don't think they're going to knock Shohei around or anything like that, but I think the Blue Jays win in extras to avoid the sweep.
Yeah, I'll go Jays. I'll go Jays in that one. Oh, good Lord. All right. Battle of the 10-plus ERA. Rockies, Astros. Christian Javier with his 12.96 ERA
Astros.
versus Michael Lorenzen with his 14.73 ERA.
Astros. I mean, if you're going to have two guys with that high of an ERA, you're always going to go with the best offense in that one, and Rockies don't really have an offense, so.
Give me the freaking Astros. Cardinals at Nationals. Michael McGreevy versus former Cardinal Miles Michaelis. Give me the Cardinals.
Miles Michaelis is at 14.46. Like, he looks like his career was on the verge of being over in a hurry.
Phillies at Giants. Aaron Nola against Tyler Mahle.
Tyler Mahle, huh?
Mally's 0-2 with an ERA of 7. Nola 1-0 with a 3.18, coming off that 9 strikeout performance against the Rockies.
I hate to do this to you, but because the Phillies struggle in San Francisco, I gotta go Giants.
I'm gonna say the Phillies break the streak. I think Nola bounces off that start in Colorado, and pitching in that ballpark actually benefits a pitcher like him. So I'll roll with my boys to get the series here.
Good for you.
And we'll probably lose 2-1 in 10 innings. All right. Royal Rumble 2.0, Braves Angels. We've got Grant Holmes against Reed Detmers. Both are pitching to sub 2.5 ERAs.
I like Detmers. I'll let the Angels in that one.
Yeah, I'll go Halos, and I'll say Joe Adele robs 2 more home runs. Which, by the way, to the idiots on Twitter that's saying because the ball technically left the park, even though he caught it, it's still a home run, kick rocks. Yes, they said because the ball carried him over the fence, it's a home run. Well, no, it's not because the ball was in his glove. So,
right. It's like the NFL. If you catch a ball in bounds and you fall out of bounds, it's still a catch. It doesn't matter if the ball took you out of bounds, you landed in bounds first.
My God, what are we doing in sports these days? All right, Mets Diamondbacks. Ryan Nelson versus David Peterson.
I'll go Mets in that one. Not a good matchup for Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, I think that's not a great matchup. I'm going to lean Mets too. All righty. Marlins Reds. Brady Singer against Yuri Perez.
ERA aside, I think the Marlins find a way to win this game. I do think they avoid the sweep.
I'm going to go Reds. Yuri Perez has not pitched very well so far this year. I mean, 7 walks.
Either a Singer, though. His ERA is a 5.2.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at Perez. I mean, 7 walks in 11 innings. So the command hasn't been great. I'm going to go with the Reds in this one.
Hold on. I think 5 came in one game, though. I mean,
I'm still taking my bets. All right, Cubs at Rays. Joe Boyle, Colin Ray.
Well, I mean, this was Cade Horton's start, so if Cade Horton was pitching, I'd be picking the Cubs all day. God, this stinks so much.
He doesn't want to pick, ladies and gentlemen. If there was a tie in baseball, he would do it.
Screw it. I'm going to just take the Cubs today. Their offense scored 9 runs yesterday. I think they finally realized that without your 2 best starters right now, you're going to have to start hitting the ball a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll go Cubbies there. Offense is starting to look good. Yankees, A's, Will Warren against Luis Severino. Give me the Yankees. Severino.
I mean, the game is in Sacramento. That could be an 11-0 game.
They're in
New York. Ooh.
Either way, it's still a hitter's ballpark.
I'm going Severino in that one. I'll go A's.
You going with the revenge game?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to Yankees. Will Warren's pitched pretty well so far this year. I'll go with the Yanks. And we wrap up our Wednesday baseball with the late game at 7:40 p.m. My God, that's the kind of days of baseball you love, is when the latest game is on before 8 o'clock.
It's a getaway day today.
We have Tigers Twins, Framber Valdez versus Bailey Ober.
Tigers.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Framber. He has been amazing.
It's going to be in the 30s again tonight, so maybe Derek Shelton will throw himself out again.
He probably won't even come out. He'll probably just be like, remember from last night? Yeah, I got ejected for 2 games. I took the 2-for-1 ABS special.
I argued with the umpire to get the first ejection, then I argued with ABS to get the second one. They told me to go home. They didn't even let me back in the clubhouse and told me to go home.
Oh, my. All right, guys. It's going to wrap up Hitting Home for today. Awesome to be back. Took a week off. Came back to some baseball. My goodness, did we talk a lot. So we're going to get on out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Appreciate everyone for tuning in the comments section, for throwing in your comments. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll be back here next Wednesday. We'll be talking more Major League Baseball. Maybe next week we'll talk about what's going on with some of these struggling American League offenses. Seattle ain't hitting well. Seattle ain't hitting well. Boston ain't hitting well. We'll talk about that probably next week and some other things around baseball. So you guys know the schedule. Birds of the Gridiron, Eagles exclusive offseason show Friday at 8. And that's what we have for you for the rest of the week. So, guys, thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you all who threw their comments in. Hope you guys enjoy the day. Enjoy the games of baseball. We'll see you guys next week. For Dustin Reese, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody. Well, have a good day, everybody.
The following has been a presentation of 609 Sports Talk Radio.
Sam, what did you do?